This is a 2019. Yes, you heard me correctly. A 2019, brand new. Roof come up. Pulled right up. Whole roof. All the way, you can see all the way back here. That is crazy. Brand new. You can see, even it is a brand new roof. Look at there. You got a leak right there. That's what they want you to do, is go around with some more decor. Put more on, more on, more on. The only one's putting more on is a moron. Come on now. It's a bad system. So we already took out all the insert trim here. We're going to replace it. It's just the cheap plastic. We're going to put some good stuff in there. Excuse me. We got more to show you even on these slide outs, which I am not happy with the way they put that together. But even right here, see all this is all loosening up. So look like they just put this on here. There's no track in this. This is factory. This is factory. At the very least, it should have some of this in there. That's factory. So evidently the factory said, well, maybe that's not going to hold so well. Just load it with booger, you know. They make better insert trim that we use. The problem is, it is black that we use, but it's a special order, so no one wants to spend the money for it. But they said, they see we're missing a screw, missing a screw, missing a screw. There's a screw, there's a screw. So we could kind of randomly, you know, I don't know why they didn't use that hole, but they went beside it. There's a hole, they went beside it. That's kind of weird. That is kind of weird. So they, that's what we got on this 2019 already. And a wine guard right there. Let's see what else we got going on. A little soft right there for my petite self. I'm a petite 225. I don't know if you can use petite and 225 in the same sentence, but I'm a daring type guy. So, like I said, this is brand new. It's and we'll show you. I think I know why this has come up, and I'll show you. But you can see right there, all wrinkled up. I'm sure this guy probably put all that putty in there, right down there, just to make sure, you know, it was sealed. So that's a shame. All right. We have got to get to work. Yeah, we got some soft decking under there. I'm sure it's OSB, but we'll end up putting boots right here. So that's us. Well, let us get to work, and we'll show you more as we go along on this 2019. Yes, brand new coach. All right, this is us. We've got most of this roof off. So we see all this printing on here. Typically, that's the wax side. That's probably why this thing come off. So when they put this through the system, this is from what I'm informed or what I've researched, they put a wax on the rollers when they go to press it. And so the resins in all of this sheathing does not stick to the rollers. But it makes this side smooth, but it doesn't, it's not deliberately sanded down or anything like that. So that's more than likely what's happened. A lot of the reason why you see all these numbers and everything, these are all the numbers that you would see when you're on the roof. Is you build a house where the inspector comes in, he's looking for all these numbers to make sure that this meets all the specs. So someone isn't just putting on products that are not been tested or approved for certain applications. And even some construction inspectors or supervisors will go around and do it. They work for the company doing the inspections, and they'll be looking for certain things that they wanted or that was designed in the roof system. So, or the wall system, construction system, whatever it is, but it'll all be labeled so they can see, hey, yeah, that's what we wanted, that's what it was designed for, that's what the architect spec'd it out to be. So that's what I'm getting. So obviously we can't take all this up, so we're probably just going to end up redecking this possibly. And look at how they protect the edges here. This is drywall mesh. That's all it is. It's drywall mesh. They did use a little better tape. Looks more like a butyl on the edge here. It's a little better, but it's still not that thick. So I mean, we're going to be putting our buffer strips on here. We'll be putting them on right here as well, where the tape is. we'll be doing that. So that's about where we're at right now. And obviously got the roof off, as you can see, so it's just a matter, we got everything protected. See, we put all those in there, so we don't have crap falling down inside your coach. See if you can, even right there, you can see. We got them all protected, so things don't fall down inside there. So we're gonna try and see if we can get this thing decked, and then all we need to do is put a thin layer on it, but more than likely I wanna see where all the fasteners are on this thing, and I can't really see them. So I'm gonna look to make sure. It may have been stapled in here, but I wanna see where they are. There should be a truss right here, because you have this vent and you have one here. So there should be a truss on both sides of those. There should be one right there. There's one right here. So I'm trying to see where the fasteners are in here, and I don't see any. So we're probably gonna have to do some soul searching here and find out where they are. I know there's another one here. Obviously we got this one here. So, and that's running alongside this one, right up that way. There's another one on this side. So they have to be in here somewhere, but typically you would see some sort of fasteners in here. So that's what we'll have to hunt for. And then what we're gonna do is make sure we staple it back down better. We'll add more staples to it. I don't think they put enough in here because I can't see them. So, all right, well, that's what we're up to right now. So we're trying to find all the trusses. Typically, you know, a lot of them that we've worked on, they're 16 on center, but some of that buoyancy when my petite self was walking along, and I said, boy, it feels like it's a little soft. It is 7/16 OSB, that's what's on here, but it's 2 foot on center on these rafters. Then all they did is just fill in right here for this truss. That's all that is, which just dead ends to like a barge or a header, if you want to call it that way, on the other side there. And then over here where we checked it, we only got it here at 2 foot on the edge. So we're trying to make sure we get them all lined up, because when we put down the new decking, I want to fasten everything all together. No sense of going up here just fastening this and not fastening everything else. So they've also got a foil under there. So if we were to take this whole thing up, I'd have to cut the foil, drop it down, then take the foil off the truss. We're just going to fasten it down with additional staples on here. And like I said, then we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. So we had a vent or something kicking around here, and it was just a bogus vent. Where was that vent? Is that it there? They call that a vent. There's no way it can vent. It's all blocked up anyways. So what we did, we cut that hole there. Someone had said that down inside there, they usually put wires in these, that it's not, I mean, because it's not a vent. It can't vent if there's all blocked up, right? If there's all up in here, how is any air even gonna get anywhere? So, but like I said, that's what I was informed. Can I see that for a second? We already checked down in there. I just want to see if there's any wires in there. Somebody said usually they coil wires up right inside there. So we got a truss right in here. That's probably a little screw. They use these small little finish screws. They have no real head on them. So, you know, that's why these things pop loose all the time. The head is too small and it doesn't have any holding power on there. You know, these coaches, they do not have to follow any codes. There's no building code for putting these together. It's whatever, this one here, what is this, a Grand Design? Whatever Grand Design wants to do on this thing so it meets DOT code and doesn't fall apart going down the road, they can do. They got to obviously have the lights and safety things like the electrical and so forth so you don't get electrocuted, mainly for their own sake, I'm sure, you know. But other than that, you know, there's no building code whatsoever to these things, because most of them, they're not going to pass building code. By the time we put our roof system on here, our roofs will literally pass commercial building code, literally. So, but anyhow, that's what we're working on right now. We're going to redeck this here. We're going to put some 5mm Luan on it on top of this. And we're going to jump the joint, so we'll have 2 foot over this way, 2 foot over that way to jump the joint. Hopefully that'll add some strength to all of this, and then we'll be able to get that roof on there. So that's what we're working on right now. You can see we got all the awnings protected. We got the awning protected on this side. Everything's all protected. Doors protected. Everything's protected. We want to make sure we take care of the coaches. So and that's about us so far. So we're going to get to work and get all this. That's what we're doing, lifting all this up to make sure we identify that they are 2 foot on center, not 23 and not 23 and a half, and not be able to fasten it properly. But once we pop all that loose and go on the other side, do the same thing. And then, like I said, we'll get this whole thing going. Okay, check out our 2019 brand spanky new. Okay, so we're trying to find all the trusses, and they don't lay out. I got 2 trusses here, and I got a truss here. And then there's 2 trusses here, and a truss here, no truss here. Is there a truss there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there's a truss there. And then we got one here, and we got one there. So these are 16 on center, but these aren't. None of them lay out. There's no layout to this. There's no layout. Like this one over here, we got like a 45.5 from center to center to that other one. Then you got 15 over here. They all jump all around. Well, that's one issue we found, because we got to get this thing done right. So they had this. You can see the wires in there. See the wires? So they had this here, so you could not shoot. Obviously, there's an electrical plate, protective plate right here, so you cannot shoot a staple or something into that wire. Makes sense. However, see if I can show this. Let's see if I stand back here. Maybe can you lift that up? See that ferrule down in there? You can see it right there. That's a ferrule. There's no protection from the wire to that ferrule. None of them do this. The fix, pass me that right there. Give me that. Oh, you got one? There we go. This is the fix. These are pennies, like pennies. And they go in. Yeah, get that camera in there. You just snap it around there. You're gonna push this down in between the wire. This is actually electrical code. And then we're going to squeeze that down inside that ferrule. That's what we're going to do. If we can get it down there. That wire is actually kind of tight. But that's what we're going to try and do, to get it squoze down in there. So we were hoping to just redeck this roof, and we're going to end up lifting that. But that's how it sets in. So now what we got to do is pop every one of these, or at least get underneath there and look, and make sure they're right. We got to do both sides. That doesn't make sense. Got a brand new coach, brand new. And these are literally pennies. When I say that these RVs, manufacturers will not spend another penny, and people say, why are those roofs so bad? See, there you go. I got it set in there. Okay, so that's the way it goes. Just like that. It's snugged down inside there, and it's protecting that, because there's a burr in there. So when I say that these RV centers won't spend, or these RV manufacturers won't spend another penny, I'm serious. I'm serious. I don't know how many there are. Now, I bought these in big bulk. I think when I bought this whole pack, I think the whole pack was like, let's see how many are in here. There's 35. I think it was like $5 or something. I don't even think it was that. It was like $2.50. They're not expensive. But you know, if I'm going and buying them over at Home Depot, I'm paying retail price for this. These manufacturers can go right along, and they can get these things, you know, gee whiz, by the whole crate full. But they don't want to. Look at here. There's quality construction for you. It doesn't even meet. And you see they try to staple through it. Well, you got almost an inch gap right there. Gee whiz. Now all we're doing is searching for wires, and we're going to be able to mark out all our trusses now that we can see them. The other thing I noticed, is that tape measure over there? You got a tape measure handy? Here it is. Oh, we got it right here. Check this out. Here's one screw. All right, there's one. You can see it. The other one's back there because you can see the tension on it. So the other one's right about in there somewhere. Let's just get an idea of how much they're spacing these. We got just about 18 or so, maybe 18, 19, 20 inches or so. Something like that. That's ridiculous. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 screws all the way across there. Well, that ought to hold it nice and tight. Again, that's just the way they do them. Get them built, get them out, get them sold. Here's a screw right here. And the next one is there's a staple right there. There's a screw right there. Maybe look at my camera on it. There's one screw right there. So you got 18 inches to this one. I don't know where the next one is, but we're going to go back and refasten all of this. But now we have to lift all this up, and we have to get all those, make sure all those wires are all protected. I'm not going to let it roll out like that, because eventually this is going to wallow through. So now at one point you're going to hit a bump, and nothing's going to work. You're going to be blowing fuses, and then some people say, hey, you put a screw or something through it. No, it's this right here. This is a common problem. This is how all of them are. It's not just Grand Design. Everyone I've worked on that do these, it's the same. It's kind of the routine, if you will, for doing this. So this one seems a little tighter than that other one down there that had that 1-inch gap. This one did. This one does. So like I said, now all we're doing is just trying to see where everything is located. And we'll pop all of this loose all the way around the whole perimeter. And then we're going to put these in. We're going to make sure it's done right, clean these up and so forth. And then that's us. They got this is a radiant barrier sheathing. That's what it's for. The whole idea is to reflect UV light. That's what it's for. It's to reflect UV light. And this really does zero. The reason they make it, though, is in order for this to be effective, and you can find this out from LP Tech is a company that makes radiant barrier sheathing, and Tech Shield is another one that you can find, but I think that may be their brand. Solar makes one. But anyhow, the way these work is usually the radiant barrier is on the back side glued to this. The way it works is you have to have about a 3/4 inch cavity clear of space for it to reflect, to get optimal UV reflection, if you will. So this isn't doing very much, maybe doing a little bit, but it's not doing the optimal that it should. And then we had that little vent that I was telling you about. That was right there. That's all, it was all packed. Because we reached down there. Someone had told me before, one of my subscribers said, no, that's where they put the wires. And we reached in there, we couldn't find any wires. So maybe it's a place where you can chase some wires if you want to put solar up here or something, or another antenna. I don't know. But regardless, it's useless. It doesn't do anything. There's no other draw. You can't get any other draw through here. You'd have to have, a way a ventilation system works is on the eave part of the roof, you would have a soffit vent. And then on the ridge part, you'd have a ridge vent. And that's how it would flow up. Now, if you had an open ceiling like that, if you go into your attic, a lot of times, if you've got insulation all the way over onto the soffit edge, you need to go up there and pull all that back. So they make baffles that sit in there to give that airflow. You need that airflow to kind of go up. It's got to go up and it circulates like that. That's the way it does. It goes right out. So there isn't that on here. You don't have a draw. So if you don't have a draw, where's it going to pull from? It's just not going to, the hot air is still going to stay in there. But that doesn't even go to anything either. It had all the, you know, the insulation, and actually, like I said, we cut that hole, so it was all stopped up anyways. It doesn't make sense. So that's the only thing I can figure. It must be an access hole for something, because it's not, definitely not a vent. But even if it was, that one little vent isn't going to do anything for this whole roof. So, okay, well, let us get going, and we'll keep you updated on what we got. So we got this one, we just did, and would you say there was another one down here? There's another one down here? Was it that way? Oh, right here?
Yeah, these and then that one.
This one right here. Okay, so we got two here. Get that in there a little better. Get some slack and get that in a little tighter, okay?
Okay.
You got to kind of fold these when you do them. You'll see. You kind of lift that up and then it'll drop right in. Okay. So we got that one. Then, were there any on the other side? You see any on this side? We've got all these popped. Got a couple here. So we're gonna get whatever couple you said right here somewhere. So we'll get them in there. But there's a lot of the stuff that we show you're not gonna go see when you go and buy it. You go inside this coach, it's really nice. You go, wow, that's really nice. Wait till I show you with the slide outs. There's nothing behind here for flashing on the inside. Nothing. I'll show you that when we go to do the slide outs, because we got to do something with it. It's just going to eventually leak, but you can see the plates right here. So those are them. So this is the protector from there. Now that's smart, but what's protecting the wire from the actual ferrule? Nothing. So that's what we're working on. Then obviously marking all the trusses and everything else. The other thing we noticed is this is a garnishment that goes up inside the vent when you're coming around the other side and you're looking up into the ceiling. That's what this is. I have extra ones. I use them as, you know, protectors. But this ceiling isn't even secured in there. The only thing holding that edge of the ceiling and this perimeter is that garnishment. There's no tacks, no staples, nothing. It's just all loose. So, got a crack board right here. Can't see much under here. You're gonna pop that loose. Like I said, we're gonna end up getting this all re-secured, and we'll check that out. But these are a lot of the things you are not gonna see. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So these staples never even made it to that frame, at least the one side of it. I think that's one stable, that's two staples. So those didn't make it in there. And obviously you can see they can't put any glue either. There's no glue because they'd have to glue it to this. But in order for it to glue to this, you'd have to glue this to there to make it effective. So they don't use any adhesive at all. what I was told is they want it to flex. That's crazy. So all the screws are taking the flexing motion, you know. That doesn't make sense. So we're going to sew them back up. We'd have to tear all that apart. We'd have to relay it back down. That's a lot of work. But I'm not saying we won't do it. We very well may. It depends on how much more I see if I don't like. But if we put this down and then we stable the bejesus out of it, it's probably going to be just fine. So, but more to come. Okay, so I made an executive decision. We're taking this up. I've seen too much crap in here I don't like. So I'm curious to know if these trunk lines are even secured together properly. They're probably not. The other thing that, look at this. Look at that, okay? We loosened a couple of screws here. There's one here, another one. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 screws running across this whole thing right here. 6 screws over here. Nothing. No screws. There's like 2 up there. That's it. That's terrible. That is terrible. These are brand new. I cannot emphasize that enough. A 2019. Brand new. That is just, this is what you don't see when you buy these things. I would tell people, do not buy a new RV for 1 year. 1 year. Any brand, any make, any model. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Trust me, they'll get the message. They'll get the message. Don't worry about putting me out of business. I've been trying to retire for about 12 years now, so. But yeah, don't buy one for 1 year, just 1 year. Trust me, they'll be going, hey, why are we not selling any coaches? Oh, mainly because you're producing shit that we all keep losing money on. So, all right, more to come. All right, so now what we're doing, peeling this back, checking all these trunk lines right here. See this? That's the trunk line to the AC. This is the one up here. We checked that. Check this one. That one looks okay. I don't know what it's doing back here, but we're going to find out. We got one more sheet to go there. Then all we're going to do is take this, fold it back down right in there. We're going to get this exposed right here like that. We'll get glue on here and we'll glue all this back together. We're going to leave the radiant barrier in there. We'll leave that. So, and that'll get you there. That's what we're trying to do, is see where all that is. Is this free? Once you get that free, we'll check all this. I want to make sure everything's all set. If it were mine, that's the way I do it. So we're already this far into it, and I also didn't like the way they did these few little screws. That was a red flag for me. Nothing is on center. Nothing makes any rhyme or reason. That's another red flag. There's no, which is common though, no bushings in the electrical, like I was showing you. The wires that come through the wall. That's kind of common, but yet it's another red flag. And the other red flag that showed me that was kind of some shoddiness is the board on the other side over there that I showed you was about 1 inch short. So it's another red flag. So with all those red flags, I said, you know, there's probably, we're bound to find something. So let's just get it done right. You don't want to do this thing twice. You don't want to do it twice. You got one more screw right in the center. That's all they did. So you put screws up there, screws up here, and one in the center. That's it. See, there's none here. There's none. Let's see if I can get back in the camera. There's none here. Just that one right up there. It's almost halfway. It's halfway in the sheet. Wow. On a building code, you're going to have these stitched every 6 inches up here. You know, and you know when you do actual building, not these RVs though. And then you got to have them 8 inches in the field, so it's 6 and 8. But the and then also depends on the nail size, sheathing size, and all that other jazz. But these aren't even a foot or 10 inches apart. Gee whiz, even on the field. So you free? All right, we got it now. Okay. And then now let me show you the screws. Toss me one of those screws. Look at it. Toss me another one. just roll it over. I can't see it when you're throwing them. So these here don't have enough holding power on the head. We should have had a better head on them. What they did is they sank them in so deep that they actually compromised it. They were recessed too far in. You want to have these sitting flush like that. You don't want it recessed down. You lose the strength out of it, much like you do on drywall. But I mean, it's a good screw, but it's just not put in right. They just plowed them all the way down and sunk them so far down that they don't even have any holding strength anymore. They'll just pop loose. As you saw, they pop loose. Yeah. But if the head was put on there properly, we'd have a harder time doing it. Yeah, so we'll keep you updated. So we're trying to get this sheet out. There's a back corner. Trying to get this out, so I give it a little tug. Look at that. That truss broke apart right there. It doesn't even have any bite. This is the gusset plate that's supposed to be leashed to the bottom part of this truss. This is the ceiling joist part. And then see how it's up on here? It's got a little bite on this one. There's none on there. It didn't even bite on there. There's no stamp, no fasteners, nothing. The whole thing just collapsed right in my hand. So now we gotta fix that. I told you I'd find something else. Look at this one here, the same thing. This didn't even bite on it, barely. It had like 1/8 of an inch on this one here. And that's this plate. These should be spaced evenly so they bite on this and that, so they have, you know, maximum strength. But then actually we got another wire here. See, this is what I'm talking about. See if I can get back up, get some light in there. See this right here? That's what I'm talking about right there. That'll get a better, there we go. This right here, that's sharp. It's gonna compromise that wire. See if we can slide this out now it's already broke. Can we get it apart? I like to see if these wires already got kind of ridges in them. Sometimes they have ridges in them already just from, you know, going down a road, racking them back and forth. So, wow. Do not buy a new RV!
You got a lemon.
Wow. You got a lemon. There's no such thing as a lemon law on an RV. Just to let you know, no such thing. That is not even, it does not even exist. Can't sue them, can't do nothing. All right, quiet on the set. You see what we did? We staple it back down, get it out of the way. Then we're gonna put some adhesive on here and she's ready to go. All right, then the other thing we did, we had that bad truss. We just fabricated a new one out of solid stock and we dropped it in there. So that's us on there. So we're all set with that. Now we're gonna glue the decking down and then, you know, they'll cut this afterwards. They just got the fan is blowing it all around. That's why they're kind of doing it in stages. But now we're just trying to get the decking on here. And then we got a hole that we got to drill over there on that side for a satellite. And then we got one over here for an antenna. We're going to jump them over. We got some wire. Now that we got the roof open, we're just going to bring a whole wire. I guess he's got one TV down here and possibly one over there, wherever that wire right there, wherever it runs, squirrels over that way somewhere. So at least he'll be able to hook it up whichever way he wants to. So that's where we're at so far. So this is the new truss that we built right here. That's the new one. Got it all glued in right to there. And then now we're pulling the wire up right here. And we're going to get that wire all the way down the other end over there for the other TV. Down that way. There's a cabinet right there. That's why we're pulling the wire. And the owner said he'll wire and get that all figured out. Decking is going down. We're stapling it. You have to staple these. If you put too many screws in this thing, you're going to split that truss assembly. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to glue it down and then I'll staple it.
Say when he first started.
Now we are applying the adhesive.
All right, what we got going on with this? It's the first time I
Then we put the sheathing. We got all the booger on there. They're all boogered over. Coming at you. Come on.
Can you get that wire in there?
Yep, we'll get that. I think, is there plumbing over in that corner? I think you got it the wrong way. You got a flippity-doo-dah the thing. All right, quiet on the set. Now we lowered it in place. The other guy was wrong. He was right and he was wrong. He said it wasn't going to work. It'll fit, but some chucklehead. We got these little burrs in here, so we'll clean them up. We'll clean them up for sure. The rest of it's down. This is the AC side goes up. So it's still smooth. It just don't look as well as this side. But now we load her up. That's it. We just sew her down. All right, that's us so far. So now what we got to do is go back. We'll set all these staples, make sure they're down. We'll put protective strips over these, over here. Sometimes, you know, the sheathing, even though it's 15, 30 seconds, and some of these trusses, they're not exact either. And if they're leaning or they're not just true, sometimes they'll cause just the tiniest little kick. So we'll probably end up hitting that a lick with maybe a sander real quick so it smooths it out. And then make sure all these are down, nice set and flush. And then we get ready for roofing. So that's so far so good. That's what we got going on. And then that truss that was back there, and some of these trusses, I know I was knocking on Grand Design about the way these trusses were, but my guess, really, I don't think they actually built that. But the guy who put that in should have realized that truss wasn't right and put it to the side and got another one. You know, I'm sure they get all these truss assemblies. I'm sure they get them all from another company and they put them on. They get all these pieces from everywhere else, even like the siding. All that is already done for them, and all they do is just hang it. That's as far as I know. But, you know, somebody who was putting that particular truss out on the back, the one that had that issue with the little gusset plates, he should have kicked that one to the side and got a better one. So, and then told the company, whoever was working on that end, hey, you know, you're making us look bad. But overall, and I still saw some other things. I know the company, you know, like the wires and things like that, but I'm glad we did it this way. It's nice and tight. It's a strong ass roof. This thing's gonna be great when we put it on here, so. All right. This is the radio and TV antenna. It's called a Winegard 360. This was on that camper there. And what I was trying to show you, what I keep stressing, see how this is, it's not stuck. It's stuck to itself, but it's not stuck to this. If it was, you'd see residue still there. That is clean and slick. You can actually see a sheen off it. See that sheen? That's why it doesn't stick. And then all they want you to do is put more on, more on. Got that guy for another $12 a tube for Dicor. So what I'm gonna do is just pull all this off, and then I'm gonna make a plate for this. So up underneath, that's where it gets hooked up. You can see that's where it looked to it, and then that's where the coax goes. So I'm just gonna make a plate up that'll cover this, and then we'll bring the coax in, and I'm gonna put this up on a stand like we do the other ones. I'm gonna put them up so it'll still get, water will get around it. A couple of the other ones I made a curb for them, but it would be easier to do it that way. And also you can clean up and around it, and also more water get around. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm trying to clean up. But I wanted to show you this, because this is just, it's not sticking. You can just kind of peel it back, even with your thumb. I'm not even, like, I don't have any fingernails, so this shit's pulling off, see? Doesn't stick. Not going to stick. But really put that clause in there to get up there and put more Dicor on, so they get away from a roof warranty. That's what they do. But anyhow, we're gonna do it right so we don't have any issues with it. That was why we did all that redecking and everything on there. Just because, I mean, if it were mine, I wouldn't want it like that. I didn't really want to redeck it, but yeah, I knew it wasn't right. So I just don't want to let it roll out that way, and then down the road they have problems with it. It's too expensive to do twice. So we'll let Grand Design pay for it. And that's what we're doing now. So he said, I'll clean all this up. I'll give you an update. So we plugged these little holes, the last clip. We had a little bit of, one side smooth, the other side just had some checking in is really what it's called. So we also sanded all this down. These are all glued. These are your buffer strips. They're going to protect on the edge from this metal. So it'll protect there. Have another one up in front here. And then this is all glued on this other side. Now what we're doing now is getting the glue on here. But once we got the glue on this, we rolled it, took the big roller and rolled it down. But now we're just trying to apply all the glue. That's what we're doing. And then over here, we're just making sure there's no dust on it. Make sure everything's staying nice and tight the way it should be. So now all we do is just pull the roofing over. We take our balance roller and we just kind of preset it, and then we take that big mammoo and we go over the whole roof with that 110-pound roller. Then we get old Stinky Foot running on the bigger roller. He got toe thimbles on because he ran his foot over with that roller one time. Now he's got thimbles on him. We call them Tinkerbells. we are done. Complete. Here's our logo. So we got 2 strikes of caulking along the back here. We also have 2 strikes around the rail. We also got 2 strikes around that rail on that side. And you can see how we got our boots all in here. But we heat welded all that. All that's all heat welded, and there's a portable sealer that we put in there right in these boots that you're looking at. So, you know, all the shaking you can do, whatever, they're all sealed. So it's never going to leak. You're done. That's my new Milwaukee caulk and collar caulking gun. I like it actually. It's real light. So then you can see on our air conditioners here, we've got these feet that we fabricate. And we've got a metal stand in here just to give the air conditioner some balance. But all of this is all, let's see if I can get in the front here. We even have a front piece up in here. That's a counter flash. So when water tries to rush up, we've got counter flashing. I'll go over that. But that main piece right there is so when water is coming down the top side of this air conditioner, it's going to hit that and drop down. And it's not going to get up into that foam gasket. So here's some of the counter flashing. Like we have the same design right here. And this is a recession we put in there. All of them are the same way. But in the front, especially here, if you get some driving water that's coming up, it's going to come up and hit this lip right here. There's your counter flash on this. And then there's that counter flash that I made, the aluminum, that goes over that. So the water will come down and get past that point and it all washes out. All this is all heat welded. This is all heat welded right in here. All heat welded in here. All these boots. What's great about these boots on our plumbing is if this had popped off, you can see it's all sealed in there. This cap would just pop right off. If it did, then it's all sealed in there. I mean, you'd have to have a heck of a lot of water to build up there. But at any rate, this would just go back into a holding tank. So you're never going to get a leak that way. And then we did the same thing, same boots we made for this dome satellite right here. And there's some bolts right here. So if this satellite ever fails, all he has to do is just take these bolts out, boom, undo that coax, take it off. We did the same thing for that little, that's a Winegard 360. It's supposed to be a radio and a TV antenna, this little one right here. We did the same thing for that. So it's got 3 boots that go around, all bolted in, with the wire coming out the back on the other side. And but that's the purpose, getting back to this, that's the purpose of that counter flash. So again, all this is all heat welded. And you can see, I mean, this is a nice clean roof. Nice clean roof. And all this is all double sealed. Everything is all double sealed. We double caulk everything. And you may be able to see some of these protector strips that are going across here, like there. That's where the decking come together. So we just put it on there just in case. And a lot of times, sometimes the trusses aren't exactly true. And one sheet may be sitting up a skosh higher than the other one. So we put that there to balance it out so it looks good. You can also see it along the edge, right here on the edge. You should be able to see it there. Yeah, that camera. That's the girl you talk to when you call. Right here, same thing. You can see it. So we wrap it around the corner, which is going to give us some protection from the roofing getting chafed on the siding. There's aluminum. So, and some of the things you want to look for on the coach or down here on these slide outs, I want to check right there. I want to check like areas like that all the way across. Usually your sweet gasket will start irritating that tape. That's all they do to it. They just run that under there. And you could probably see those little screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can go around. All right, those screws there, that roofing comes over, that black piece mounts to it, and then they get the roofing under there and it all mounts together, and they just put that piece of tape on there, and after a while that sweet gasket that's in the slide out, the center sweet, that's what will cause that irritation on there. So they you want to check them all like that. So the customer is probably going to handle that. He did put some tape on the front. I'll show you what we did to that as well, because that was a little bit of work to get all that. What do you put on there? Like a roof tape. I may be able to show you from here. So he had that thing all boogered over, and what we had, it was so bad. Maybe if I zoom up, you can see just a little shadow under there, but it was just terrible. We couldn't get all that out of there. We smoothed it down the best we could, and I put a vinyl strip on there. That's all it is, just a piece of vinyl like you'd see on my truck out there. same wrap, it's just white. We put it on there just to kind of conceal it a little bit. Obviously, put caulking down the sides and everything. And we've got our insert trim. That's a snap in and a snap over trim. I'll see if I can find a piece of that and show you that as well. But that's basically us right here. It's a pretty straightforward system. This is a commercial roof. It's a commercial roof membrane, commercial roof installation. This will pass the commercial roofing codes. So you need to have the covers on here. Got another one right here. You need to have those on there. They help shed water away. I like that. They also help to keep extra UV light off of the caulking, which it's all commercial. It'll still last, but every little bit helps. And also you can open this thing up in the rain. You know, open your vents so get some air in there. So I like to see those on there. And then, and like I said, the other air conditioner up front here is the same way. We put the same flashing detail on the front of this one as well. Let's see, we got it on there. Like you said, when the water comes around, it'll hit this, and then when it drips down here, it'll scooch around that way. It can't get up underneath even that other counter flash. Even if the wind's blowing, even if those drips are coming down, and in the wind, we'll say you get into a real heavy storm and the wind's really pushing it, it's not going to be able to get up underneath the other counter flash. The other counter flash meaning like this one here. So, and it's all heat welded. So all you have to do for maintenance on this, I tell folks wash it a couple times a year. It really helps, but you don't have to put a coating on. You don't have to do anything. Typically, now this system is a 20-year roof membrane. That's how they rate them, but it's commercial. They're expecting this to be on a building for 20 years, you know, in the sun, in the elements, constantly. And typically, you know, you're not going to see that with these campers. Typically, these campers are in the shade. So, but that's our great roof here. Let me see if I can show you a couple other things. Here's a better look at that front here. Oh, we put that little vinyl piece on there. Then, you know, again, we got two strikes going all the way down here. There's a plumbing over there. There's not one here. One there, not one here. Someone thought there was one there. So that's a hot patch. It's just as good as all those other patches in there. You know, all those heat welds. But one of the guys, when I got over there, he said, "What are you doing? You know that plumber's on the other side, right?" I do know. You can see we got two strikes of caulking going down here. All this has to be primed. So, kind of give you another look at this, maybe from a scaffold angle. This is the insert trim for the corner mold. This is the corner of the camper, so you know where I'm at. This is the corner. You got another one on the corner, and you got the ones in the front. This is the old stuff that they use. Let me show you what it is here. That one's all. So we get the other end for you. That's all it is. It's just flat and it's cheap. So what they do is they take it and it just snaps in like this. That's how it goes. And that's supposed to keep all these protected, but water can still get in there. I showed it on a couple other videos. But this, see if you can see this, a little different. This has a groove in it. See the groove? It has a groove in it. And that snaps in and out. And that just goes in just like a so. Get this one in. Now, what I like about this is that now I know, you can see that little groove in there? What I like about it is that it's snapped inside this track and it's outside the track, so water can't get in it. That's what I like about it. And you can't get this in black, by the way. I had to special order this. The RV industry does not want to spend one more red cent on anything. They don't even put those little bushings in the electrical, and those are pennies. They're not going to spend extra money for black like this. You can buy this in black, this cheap crap, all day long. Now you can buy this in white. You can't buy it in black. So the way I got is I had to buy 2 miles of it. Like 10,000, just under 2 miles, 10,000 linear feet of it. So but we don't sell anything here. And then so we replaced it all in here. And then we got our logo on there. There's all our information, and we also got our logo on. We got the insert trim here, and we replaced it on the front. So we changed it all out. Now we've got a video posted. It's called a hideout, And if you look at the hideout, we had to do the back wall of the whole hideout. And in this corner of that hideout, we had some dampness. And that was pretty new too, actually. I think that was like a 2017. And then there was some dampness here, almost mirror images. And the only way I can figure out why they were getting water in there is because water was getting in behind there as it drilled down. The water just rolled inside that track there and got down, and the way they tucked and folded it, it was seated down there at the bottom, and that's how the moisture got in there. So we got it in time, there wasn't any rot. We were able to just dry it out, throw some mold kill on it. But that's about us on our Transcend here. This is a 2019. That's right, this is a 2019 camper, and you've seen all the stuff. We pulled it apart. That's the way they rolled it out of the factory. So you know, we want these things to last. They're too expensive to just go out and go, hey, I'll go get a new one. But it seems to me that's the way they put them together, that they fail. So you'll have to go out and buy a new one. You know, oh, I'm tired, it's gonna cost me too much to do this, I'll go get another one. Then you're upside down on it, and then you go to get one, they go, well, you still own the last one, we'll put that on the new mortgage. And now you got whatever, several $1,000s on another one, and then when that needs a roof system, then you go, ah, I'm gonna get it. You're always like a dog chasing its tail with these things. So, but now what we're doing, we just went inside, and I think someone had asked me, I don't know if this camera will show it, but someone had asked me what we did with these garnishments. And here's a garnishment right here, see? So we got the curb up there, and we just make these extensions on there, or we'll get bigger ones, depends on how tall they actually are. But this one here, we were able to just put taller ones in, so you still can't see our curbs or nothing in there. And then on the air conditioners, we do the same thing, is we extend the plenum in there, we extend those, and I fabricate those as well, and also the dividers for the air and the supply. But you can see right here, even where this one was, it looks like it was already leaking right there on that skylight. It looks like to me it was already having issues with it. I don't know what else that could be. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those molding sticks that fell off, but there's not a piece of molding there. But there's one there. It looks about the same width and everything. So, but it's a nice looking coach, but to me they're no better than any of the older ones. I don't see it. Just got better decor, you know. But inside, like I said, it's pretty nice, you know. Well, we appreciate you watching. Oh, here's some of the other things while I'm here. You want to check up in here on the slide out. You want to check right here. Sometimes when they have the rubber come over, they'll fold it the wrong way. One thing I don't like about this is the wood right here, even though it's painted and protected, if you will, with these air quotes. But you can see right here, you can see the wood. So all I did was paint it to try to make it a little more. But look, if the water comes in, here, right? What's going to stop it from going down here? So really, there need to be a piece of counter flash up inside here to come out. You know, because after a while, the sweep gasket right here, that's going to irritate this piece right here, and I'll start curling it up. That's what it's doing on the outside. So, but that really should be metal. Before, and this is why I say these new ones aren't any better. Before they used to have the roofing rolling all the way up, but I guess some pencil pusher calculated that they were using another 3.5 inches of roofing, and said, hey, forget that, boy, we could get a whole nother roof out of it after we do about 1,000 of them. So now they don't. You want to make sure the top of these are all sealed. You want to make sure that is. Make sure all around your window is all sealed. You want to make sure down here on that, there's a strip down here, this termination strip. Make sure that's sealed. Everything got to be sealed up. If you don't seal these coaches up, that's where we see a lot of the issues. So even like around the door here, you want to make sure that's sealed. When we do a reseal, like a recaulk on a coach, we'll take these right out. I seal right behind there. I want to make sure those screws are sealed in there. Then we go around on the outside as well. We do that. And then obviously we make sure these are all sealed up. But on here, if we have any rusty screws, but I would take all those screws out individually, and I'd put a doodaub of caulking in there because I want to make sure those are sealed as well. And then that wasn't on this work order. Make sure all around your outlet here is all sealed, all around this side. If you see anything hanging out like butyl, get that fixed. You don't really have anything right in there. Doesn't look it to me. Let me check. Maybe it's something in there that's clear and I can't see it. Let's see. Let's try my hot rod key. If I can get it out of my pocket while I'm holding this camera. Yeah. Well, the Ford key don't fit in there. Let's see. I have a knife on me. May have a sharp knife.
No, I'm gonna go.
Let's see. Hey, you know, I'm recording here. You got to keep quiet. People don't want to know what's going on in the back, you know, store here, if you will. Yeah. So there's some clear in there. There's some clear in there. So, but you do want to make sure they're all sealed up. The same thing around here. Well, maybe people do. Maybe we should get a reality show. I'd probably get a little more on this. The other thing that's really important, right here, you want to get that sealed. That's for sure. Right in there. Water will get down, and if moisture gets in there, it'll delaminate this. Go around, obviously, the lights. And here, these are just, that's what I don't like about aluminum campers. But if water trickles, see how the knife goes in there? You need to make sure you get caulking, because water can trickle all the way. Get that over here so you can see. Watching what I'm doing and not where the camera's going. You can see how that knife can just slip up in there. You want to make sure there's caulking. I can feel right about there. You want to make sure there is caulking in there. You want to make sure that is really sealed well, especially on the back end, because that's where it'll get most of the water, because it's, you know, as you're traveling and the water is flowing this way. So let's see, I get around my scaffold and I'll see if I can get around our spokes model. Oh, hey, we got another sticker here. Yay! You want to make sure all this is sealed as well. Everything is sealed up tight as a drum. So then even on here, you want to make sure these are sealed. This is what I was talking about when I was inside. Right here, make sure that's sealed. If you see any butyl, just cut that butyl out of there. See, that's butyl. You want to take that out. That's not caulking. And what'll happen is the butyl will dry out. When it dries out, then it'll actually just suck water in, but that's just butyl. There's not caulking on that. So I would really encourage that. Even right here, there doesn't seem to be any seal here. There's some on the outside of the other windows, the main windows, but not in here. So there may be some butyl or something behind it, but you can almost see. Like I said, these screws, back out like 3 or 4 of them, put a doodah of caulking on there, and screw them back in. You know, I'd probably, if it were me, I'd either use a clear or black caulking, right? So you want to make it look good. So, well, we appreciate you watching. You get all our information there, rvroofinstall.com. You can go watch some more videos. And if you have any questions, you can give us a call, 423-475-7663. And we want to thank Grand Design for sending us this great camper to redo for them.